Welcome to today's Explainer, everybody. We're diving straight into a story about a guy who was, without a doubt, a once-in-a-generation talent. We're talking about a player whose career went from absolute, pure, magical football glory to what kind of just looks like a massive financial obsession.
So here's the big question, right? How exactly did the undisputed heir to Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo end up with 0 Ballon d'Ors? It is literally the central mystery of Neymar Jr.'s entire career. If you watched him play, you already know. The guy had an unparalleled, magical level of skill. He didn't just play football, he made us all fall in love with it. Yet somehow, all that absolute peak potential kind of went unfulfilled. Let's unpack exactly how that happened.
Section 1. The Prince of Santos, Early Days in Brazil.
The sheer terror Neymar struck into his opponents back then was just completely unmatched. There's this super famous, viral anecdote from his Santos days where a defender literally dropped to his knees begging Neymar not to dribble past him. Like, no way. But that was the level of raw, electrifying flair he brought to the pitch. The whole world was watching, and obviously all the top European clubs were circling, just desperate to sign this Brazilian sensation.
But honestly, a kind of fatal flaw was introduced right at the very start of his European journey. So when he transferred to Barcelona back in 2013, the public story everyone celebrated was this clean €57 million deal. But the hidden reality? Well, it was actually an €88 million deal, heavily padded with a secret €25 million commission that went directly to his father. I mean, this hidden financial greed was so incredibly scandalous that it actually led to the jailing of Barcelona's president. It was a massive early warning sign that money was always going to cast a shadow over his career.
Section 2. Glory and Messi's shadow. The Barcelona era.
Now, his immediate impact in Spain was just absolutely staggering. Look at his very first season. He played 41 games, scored 15 goals, and provided 15 assists. He wasn't just living up to the massive hype, he was completely blowing past it. And then, when Luis Suarez joined, oh man, they formed the absolutely unstoppable MSN trio, Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Together, they just dominated European football and totally rewrote the power dynamics of the whole sport. But, here's where the narrative really twists. The sheer irony of La Remontada. Picture this. It's 2017 and Barcelona is trailing Paris Saint-Germain 4-0. It's a completely impossible situation. But then, Neymar goes out and plays the absolute game of his life, leading this miraculous 6-1 comeback. He was the unquestioned architect of that victory. But the very next day, the media plastered Messi's face on all the front pages, crowning him the ultimate hero. And it was in that exact moment that Neymar realized a really harsh truth. He was always going to be trapped in Messi's shadow as long as he stayed at Barcelona.
Section 3. The record transfer. Moving to PSG.
€222 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. Driven by this deep desire to finally escape Messi's shadow and honestly fueled by PSG's spiteful revenge over a totally separate transfer drama with Marco Verratti, PSG went ahead and triggered his quote-unquote unbreakable release clause. It was a move that completely shook the footballing world to its core. I mean, literally no one thought a club would actually pay that amount, but PSG did. And just like that, Neymar packed his bags for Paris to finally be the undisputed main man.
Section 4. Ego, injuries, and downfall. Toxic locker room drama.
But almost immediately upon arriving in Paris, things started to unravel. Neymar clashed hard with PSG's star striker, Edinson Cavani. We're talking literally arguing on the pitch over who gets to take a penalty. And how exactly did PSG try to solve this massive ego problem? Well, behind closed doors, they offered Cavani a cool €1 million simply to step aside and let Neymar take the penalties. Cavani refused out of pure principle, but it just perfectly highlighted this absolutely absurd culture of throwing insane amounts of money at locker room problems.
And then, of course, came the 2018 World Cup. 14. That is the total number of minutes Neymar spent literally rolling around on the ground during the tournament in Russia. Seriously, 14 minutes. So instead of going viral for his absolute magic on the ball, he became famous globally for all the wrong reasons: the theatrics and the diving.
Yet despite all that, the data actually builds a really complex picture of the guy. During his 2019-2020 season, which was arguably his most criticized, most injury-plagued era, he still played 27 games, scored 19 goals, and provided 12 assists. The tragic irony here is just undeniable. The data proves that even during his absolute lowest points in the court of public opinion, he was never really a bad player.
His raw output was still elite.
But let's be real. The fans weren't looking at spreadsheets and stats. They were looking at his availability and his commitment. And he developed this highly suspicious habit of missing critical Champions League knockout games, conveniently timed right around his sister's birthday and, well, his own birthday too. This drove the PSG Ultras totally insane. They perceived this complete lack of discipline, turned completely against him, and aggressively started booing him in his own stadium.
So how exactly did the club manage this total breakdown in fan relations? Well, remember the Cavani money? Yeah. To quiet the angry ultras, PSG actually paid Neymar an ethical bonus of 375,000 euros. And for what, you ask? Simply to walk over and clap for the fans after matches. Seriously, it's just an absurd testament to how completely unhinged their financial solutions had become.
And right here lies the ultimate twist of the whole story. Neymar left Barcelona specifically to escape Messi's shadow, only to ironically fall straight into another one. Because while Neymar was dealing with the boos and the rolling around on the pitch, an 18-year-old Kylian Mbappe was just exploding onto the scene, winning the World Cup for France. Neymar's whole quest for Ballon d'Or independence got completely derailed by a teenager in his own squad. You really can't make this stuff up.
Section 5. The Saudi Arabian payday. Leaving Europe behind. So, after a painful Champions League final loss and a pretty brief, totally failed reunion with Messi in Paris, Neymar made his ultimate choice. He signed with the Saudi club Al Hilal. And guys, here is the staggering number. 350 million euros. That is what he is set to earn over just 2 seasons, including all the advertisements. The sheer overwhelming financial weight of this move officially ended his highly competitive European career.
But wait, it gets crazier. It wasn't just the base salary. His contract included these outrageous bonuses. We're talking a private jet provided for his frequent travel, 50 personal staff members fully dedicated to his household, an 80,000 euro bonus for every single match the team wins. And, get this, he was even granted a royal exception to bypass local laws and live with his girlfriend unmarried. It is a level of pampering that just completely leaves you staggered.
When you look at the big picture of his entire journey across Barca, PSG, and Al Hilal, Neymar became the only player in the entire history of the sport to generate over 350 million euros in transfer fees alone. No matter how you slice it, finances always heavily dictated his path.
I want to leave you with this trending thought today. Neymar is different. And you know what? He truly was. We're talking about a player of unmatched, absolute magical flair who captivated our entire generation, yet who ultimately prioritized unprecedented financial gain over chasing pure, absolute football and glory. So what do you think? Was his unique path a blessing of pure entertainment or a tragic curse to his ultimate legacy? I'm going to let you decide. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep exploring the stories behind the stats.